Hey everyone, this is Frugal Green Girl again. And, summertime has a lot of good things to it, and it also has maybe some downsides. Um, in summertime you tend to get all these delicious summer fruits and things that you can fill your fruit baskets with, but the downside to that would be that sometimes fruit flies come in after and they decide that your summer fruits are delicious for them to eat too. Well, what a pain they can be once they move in because they're in your face, they're flying around. Ugh, they really gross me out. When I'm making bread and stuff like that, they try to get into it. They're in my bathroom, they're in my kitchen, and they're just driving me totally crazy. So anyway, I had to get rid of them. And so I wanted to share with you my journey on that and the different traps that I've tried and also some other creative ways to help get rid of them. So anyway, I had 3 areas in my house that I needed to get rid of the fruit flies from. The first one was my kitchen, obviously, where all the fruits were. The second was my bathroom. My upstairs bathroom was a full bathroom, and they seemed to be hovering around in the bathtub area. And then in my downstairs bathroom, which is a half bath, they were really hovering around the toilet. So what I did is I did some research and found some different traps that were available that you could make from, just some homemade things. And I tried all 3 of the different traps that I tried in all 3 of the areas, hoping that with this experiment I'd be able to really find out which trap was the best trap, And I was hoping to find a really clear answer, but actually all 3 of them worked pretty well. So, in a way, that's kind of a good thing because now, no matter what materials you have available, you're going to be able to find something that's going to be able to help get rid of them. And they all use different things, as bait inside, and they were all made of different things. So whatever it is you have around, I'm sure you'll be able to find a trap to help you get rid of your fungus or your fruit flies too. Actually, before I move on, I almost said the word fungus gnat, and that brings me to a point. Fruit flies and gnats, or fungus gnats, are sometimes used interchangeably by different people, as though they were the same, insect, but they're really not. Fungus gnats are really small. Fruit flies are a little bigger, about half the size of maybe a housefly. Maybe a little smaller than that, maybe a third or something like that. But where they live and what they eat are what really separate them. Fungus gnats tend to live in your plants or around the base of the soil. They actually go down into the soil and they lay their eggs in the soil, and then when their eggs hatch, the little worm larvae eat the roots of your plants. Fruit flies, as the name would imply, eat fruit or other types of rotting things because that's what flies like. So if you have stuff that's flying around your plants and the real small, tiny little fly-looking things, you probably have fungus gnats, and these traps will probably not work for that because they eat something different. They're not going to be attracted to the same, things inside of the traps. If you have fruit flies, however, this will help get rid of your issue. So the first trap I tried was this one. I made it out of a water bottle, and then I cut it off, maybe 2/3 of the way up, and then I turned the top and stuck it upside down inside of there. I don't know if you can see that. And then I taped the edge so that none of the little fruit flies would be able to get out. And then I filled the inside here with apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is, of course, made from apple cider. And it's vinegar, so it has this kind of like sour rotting smell. So the two of them, the two aspects of it are really attract the the fruit flies. And it actually worked pretty well. The idea behind this trap is that they would fly in through the hole in the bottle here, and then they would get stuck in here not being able to find their way out, and then they would drown in the apple cider vinegar. And this trap worked very well. I don't know if you can see this, how many fruit flies are floating around in there. It's really gross. But yeah, this trap did work really well. I would say right off the bat this one worked out probably the best, but I did notice some of the time a few would escape through that big hole. So, I guess that was maybe the only drawback. It was easy to make though, and totally free, and I would say it worked pretty good. The second trap I tried was a regular ordinary soup can. And this time I put apple cider vinegar in here, but then I put a little bit of soap. The idea behind this trap is that they go inside to drink the apple cider vinegar because they're attracted to it, but the soap has broken the surface tension so that when they go to try to land on the top of it and drink it, they can't stand on the top like they think they're going to. They fall into the liquid and they drown. Well, this trap also worked very well. I didn't see too many escape from this one, but I didn't sit and watch it too much. But it wasn't very pretty just being in a regular can, so I put this wrapping paper on it. Kind of made it a little more decorative. Still, it's pretty gross though. It's a can full of apple cider vinegar, which kind of stinks, and a bunch of dead flies floating around in there. But it did work. This, I would say, was probably the easiest one to make, minus the wrapping paper. You just take a can, or if you have a cup or any other type of vessel you would like to hold your liquid in, throw the vinegar, a couple drops of soap, stir it up, set it on the counter. It literally took maybe 1 minute to put together, and it was very effective. So I don't know if you can see that with the fruit flies off in the bottom there, but this trap was very effective as well. The third trap was made out of no apple cider vinegar at all. This one I used some apple juice in it and a piece of fruit. And at first this one looked like it was going to be the loser. It just didn't seem like it was really working. Oh, I took a cup and then I put the fruit in there, and then I put some like saran wrap on the top, and I rubber banded it on, and then sort of in the middle, not right close to the edge, in the middle I put like 4 little holes, and the idea is that they will go in through those little holes. They won't be able to find their way back out, just like the first trap I showed you, and then they get stuck in there and die. And I did notice, I was a little skeptical that they would find their way out through those holes, but they seemed to fly around the outside edge the most to try to get out, and they didn't really seem to go in the middle as much. So this one did work pretty well in the end. At first though, like I was just saying, it didn't seem like it was going to work that well, but after it sat on the counter for a few days and the juice started to get a little sour and the fruit inside there started to mold, in the end this one ended up attracting more fruit flies than any of the other two. So once it really started getting stinky, this one really worked. It just took a few, I would say a day and a half before it really, the stuff in there started to spoil, and then that's when it really picked up. So yeah, I would say all 3 of these traps work really well. Some ideas for different liquid you could use in any of these. If you don't have any apple cider vinegar, or if you don't have any apple juice, pretty much any other kind of juice would probably work because they are fruit flies and they like any kind of fruit, so any type of fruit juice would probably work just fine. I also heard that beer works pretty well. I haven't tried that, so if any of you out there try that, let me know how it works. Also, just to let everyone else who watches the video, they can all know what sort of things work and what sort of things don't, so that we know what to try and what sort of things that would be a waste of our time. So yes, please, if you do try any of these extra, ways, please let us all know. Let's see, I can't really think of what else. I heard one person suggest regular vinegar, but I don't know if that would be as effective because I don't know that they would be quite as attracted to it. They don't necessarily like, I don't know, I guess I haven't even tried it, so I haven't tried it, so I shouldn't really make a judgment there. So again, if you do try it, let me know. Another thing I was doing, sort of help get rid of them right away, is just regular smacking them like you would a normal fly, just with some regular, newspaper or fly swatter. That seems to get rid of them right away, which is useful, but it kind of makes a mess. So instead of, trying that and making a mess all over, I started using my vacuum hose. There was a whole big concentration of them, and so in my bathroom, I took this piece of like a banana and I stuck it down there, and about 5 to 10 minutes later I kind of snuck in there with my vacuum. I got it plugged in, I got the hose all ready, and I knew they were gonna take the bait, and they did. They were just swarming all over the piece of fruit that I had left there, and then I took the hose and I kind of brought it up next to them and really quickly turned it on, and suck, and got all the fruit flies sucked into the vacuum hose. And so that was a pretty easy way to sort of get rid of a whole bunch of them right away, because all of these traps, you put them out and they're easy, and then when they kind of like find their way in there, they're gone. But if you really want to get rid of a whole bunch of them, like if you really want to take a shower and you're totally annoyed that they're taking over your bathroom and you just want to shower in peace, you know, the trap and, you know, the little bait, and then sucking them up with the vacuum hose really is an effective way to kind of get rid of them really quickly. So anyway, if anybody else has any other ideas, please feel free to share. That's all I got though, these 3 traps and some other ideas on how to get rid of them. But don't worry, I've been dealing with them for a couple of weeks now, but now with my, you know, traps that I have set out and the different ways I've been getting rid of them and whatnot, pretty much the population in my house has drastically been reduced. And I'm still keeping the traps out for a little longer, you know, in case there are a few left over that, you know, find their way in there. But for the most part, my infestation has pretty much gone away. Oh, one other thing I should really remember to, I don't want to forget. Anyway, when I put out the traps in my kitchen, right away it didn't seem like the traps were working. What I had to do was take all of the fruit in my fruit basket and put it in the fridge. Then all of a sudden, their food source was gone, so they were kind of driven into the traps. So if you have anything that's attracting them, you know, things that they can eat on, in my bathroom, my kids have these washcloths that they wring out and kind of lay over the, you know, the things you turn on the water with and everything. They were kind of like landing on those. Stuff that they were like attracted to, we had to get rid of. And then they were much more likely to go into the traps because they're attracted to these instead of, you know, the things that they were, you know, eating on otherwise. Another thing I noticed they liked was drains. I don't know why. Maybe they just stay wet all the time, and maybe there's just nasty stuff in there. Of course, they're flies. They like that sort of thing. So another thing I did was to just close the drains when I wasn't using them, like in the bathtub and whatnot, or even the sinks. And all these types of things help to drive them into the traps and away from, you know, their other food sources. I'm glad I almost forgot that. So anyway, I hope this video wasn't too, you know, hard to understand with me jumping around from here to there and whatnot, but it's just kind of like the different things I tried and what I seemed to work, what things worked for me, and you know, different things that I had to try in order to make other things work. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you, and I appreciate you watching. And if you know you have any other suggestions or questions, please feel free to add them to the comments below. Thank you.